Hey guys, it's Kat, and I'm wearing the same clothes and makeup as my last two videos because I'm filming them all at the same time. It's all about panning. So last video was my introduction to my hashtag Team Project Pan 2021 video. The one before that was my conclusion for my 2020. And this one is going to be the introduction to my Pan That palette. So in 2020, I panned half of a blush palette. And it was something that I know that a lot of people were excited to check in and see every month and see the progress. I actually really enjoyed panning that palette, much more than panning an individual blush. So I thought I will make a series out of it this year and do a check-in every month. So I've got 4 palettes that I want to pan this year, 2 face and 2 eyeshadow palettes. Now, if I do make really good progress on my eyeshadow palettes, I might swap it out like mid-year for another one because I feel like these aren't going to be as hard as I think it would be. So I did choose the old school classics, the Lorac Pro 1 and Pro 2. And the reason I chose that is because firstly, there's sort of everyday palettes that I can sort of incorporate. Even if I'm using glitter or multi-chromes or colorful, eyeshadows, I can always use some element of this in everyday look. I decided to use both palettes because I like some shades from this one. I like some shades for this one. Generally, when I do reach for these palettes, I like to mix them together. I feel like this has some shimmers that suits some mattes up here and vice versa. I feel like they are actually stronger palettes together than they are separately. But I also chose these palettes because the pans aren't very big. They contain 8.8 grams over the entire palette. There's 14 shades. So I haven't done the maths on how much it contains per pan, but I will put it up in the corner. But it's just over half a gram of eyeshadow per pan. And that doesn't seem like it's that hard to use up in my head. I do know there's some shades, some pans already, like this one here and this one here, that I reckon I'm going to hit pan on very, very soon. I'm wearing these palettes on my eyes today. They create some nice looks. I like the quality of them. They're quite powdery. They remind me a little bit of Anastasia Beverly Hills, where they are quite powdery and kick up quite a lot. So I feel like you can sort of use them pretty fast. Now, my goal for these is to hit pan on at least 1 eyeshadow per month. So 12 months, we've got, 28 eyeshadows here. So it should be pretty easy to hit pan on 12 over the 2 palettes. So I'm not forcing myself to hit pan on every single shade because, like, for example, there's 2 blacks. What am I going to do with 2 blacks? I'm never going to hit pan on 2 blacks. So I'm going to see how much I can get through. But if I do hit my target of 12 eyeshadows by mid-year, I might swap this out and focus on another palette, or I might just keep going and see how much in total I can use up over the year. But in my head, I want to at least hit pan on 1 shade a month. I feel like that's doable with the consistency of this and also the pan size. So that's what I'm focusing on. And then once I'm done with these, I'm going to get rid of them because they're usable and they're nice quality, but they're not anything outstanding and that I must have in my collection. So they're things that I've sort of held off decluttering just because I like them, but I don't like them enough to reach for them over other things, if that makes sense. So they can go. Now, I've got 2 face palettes. This is the Smashbox Crush On Blush palette. It was a holiday palette from a few years ago, and this does have 4 blushes, a bronzer, and a highlighter. Now, I have been using this over the last couple of weeks. These are quite pigmented. So when I used 2 highlighters and 3 blushes from my Tarte palette last year, they were firstly smaller than these pans and also less pigmented. These are way more pigmented, so we'll see how I go. I feel like with the bronzer, even though in my project pan I have an individual bronzer in my project pan, I still feel like I can probably hit pan or use this up alongside that. Same as the highlighter. I don't love this shade. It's quite icy, but I feel like if I mix it with a blush or something, I can sort of hit pan on it. So I've got 2 sort of peachy shades, which I'll probably focus on first. One is more shimmery, one is more sort of matte satin. Then I have this sort of berry shade, which I think will be the hardest one to hit pan on, and also this sort of cool tone pink. So my main focus will be these and the bronzer, and then I'm going to sort of struggle with the other ones, but we'll see how we go. These smaller ones, I think total 4.5 grams together, and then the bigger pans total 18.28 grams. So there's quite a lot of product in this. So we'll see how we go. They are quite pigmented. Wish me luck, but I'll take photos and I'll check in next month with any progress on that. Now, the last thing I want to focus on, and this is also an old limited edition holiday palette. It's by Mercier, and it is the Fall in Love Face Illuminator collection. So it's got 4 mini highlighters. They're 3.3 grams each. And again, I'm probably not going to use all of them because this one is not a highlighter on me. I have used it as an eyeshadow. It is quite nice, but again, I've got eyeshadows that I'm going to pan. So I probably won't hit pan on this just using it as an eyeshadow because 3.3 grams is a massive eyeshadow. The highlighter I use the most is probably this one here. It's sort of more of your champagne-y, just sort of my skin tone, but shimmery. Then there's a gold, there's this sort of iridescent pinky light one that I tried to use today just to see how it goes. And I have also tried mixing a few together. So I think the ones that I'll make most progress on will be this one first, followed by that one, and then I'll see how I go with these two. But if I can at least get 2 of them done by the end of the year, then I've used this palette to completion. I'm fine with that. But if I can hit pan on these other ones, I'll be happy too. But 3.3 grams is times 4. Is quite a lot, but we'll see how we go with that. All right, so those are the palettes that I'm focusing on in my Pan That Palette series, Too Faced, Too Eye. If you have been doing a Pan That Palette and you are good at panning palettes, I would love to hear your tips in the comment section. So if you're excited about this project, which is a bit of an offshoot from my hashtag Team Project Pan, let me know in the comments. Wish me luck, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.